I got to tell you, when I walked into the room, I was a little shocked at all this technology that we're seeing right now. And I want to officially say thank you to Edwin for putting all this together. Somebody had commented on a YouTube episode, I think it was YouTube, that for the 100th episode, because we were asking people what should we do for the 100th episode, because they didn't really have an idea, because I'm not creative in that way. And so they said it'd be cool to have an all-pastor podcast. And I thought that would be amazing. And so I went to Edwin and asked Edwin, can we get this done? And Edwin said, well, do you want Christmas music to it? And I said, no. Everything you do doesn't have to be Christmassy. So, no, he said, yeah, absolutely, we got it done. And so thank you officially to Edwin for all of this. But, yeah, it's kind of, I walked in, I'm like, this might be the world's most famous podcast after today.
After this production.
Well, we have a real TV in here with monitors.
Yeah.
Looks like a high-rise behind, like windows behind us. Look at this.
Yeah, I was thinking today, I really hope that whatever button has to be pushed to record all of this is pushed. Like, it would be just tragic. That's happened before in podcast history where we did an entire podcast. Oh,
we get to redo it.
Holy cow. Is the audience going to hear you?
Yeah.
Oh, doggone it. Edwin's talking to us in our...
Hey, Jamie.
He can chime in whenever he wants.
He can. Yeah.
Powerless to stop.
He's going to keep whispering, that was stupid.
Yeah.
In my
They
ear.
don't hear it, but we do. Real-time feedback.
Do we have a camera on Edwin? Like, can we
No.
shoot to you when we need to from time to time?
I don't know. I think we're out of cameras. I think...
We got them from the worship center.
Do we own all these or no?
Just this one.
Do we steal them? Okay. Okay, Edwin. We'll get some gear.
Yeah.
But this is exciting. In today's podcast, typically the format of the podcast, and I think we're all familiar with this because we've all been on the podcast, is we get viewer or listener questions in, or we talk about the goings on of the church. We review, kind of where we're at in the sermon series and all of that. But I wanted this one to kind of stand alone a little bit and just have a conversation. One of the things that I was saying before, as I was praying before we did our podcast here and just thanking the Lord for, is the uniqueness of kind of the culture that we've got in the staff. I've had other jobs. I've never had other church jobs, but I've had other jobs, and there were people at those jobs, and people are people. Like, you would hope that Christians and believers operate differently, and they should, and most of the time they do. But the tendency for strife and tension in any staff environment, and Bob, you would know this, like you worked at a big old church that had, 40 people on?
43, yeah.
43, yeah. So anytime you got that many people, you can get tension, but even just among the 6 pastors that are here and our part-time workers and administrative workers and all of that, there's the possibility for tension. And unless I'm completely blind or you guys have me bamboozled, like, it seems like everybody gets along. And so I wanted this just to be an opportunity for us to talk a little bit about our ministries, but just to be among one another as well. I will ask this, if it's all right. What did everybody do for New Year's Eve? Did you do anything? That just happened not too long ago.
I could start. This was like our first in, I don't know, probably like 20 years that we didn't stay up.
Oh, okay.
Because
You're saying it was your first New Year's Eve. I'm like, I don't think that's
Is that a high five?
Yeah.
I feel like you've had other New Year's Eve.
So exciting.
Like we just, we didn't, we were in bed by 11 and
Yeah.
because we have
You
the
laughed like
baby.
you had a good story. You're like,
No,
this will be good.
I laughed because I was
We went
like,
to bed early.
This is ours was super
Blow
boring.
their mind. Yeah.
We have our new baby Philip. He's only about 2 months old now. And
What's the most exciting one that you've had?
actually, in years previous, before we had kids, Marissa's parents would host New Year's Eve, and her for those who don't know who are listening, Marissa is my wife, but her parents would host New Year's Eve, and they would have a lot of her family over. They live in the area, and a lot of her and her brother's friends we would all just come together, and we would like the TVs would be on. We'd have the the Rockin' New Year's Eve program on. People were watching that. We're playing games. They'd always have a lot of food. They'd put on a big spread. Like it was a good time.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed that. We missed it a little bit.
Yeah.
And our New Year's Eves the past 5 years have been significantly quieter because of having children.
Yeah.
Which you guys all know.
They ruin a lot.
I don't want to say it that way, but
I will. No. No. Things just changed. Like, definitely different.
That was just quiet this year, and it wasn't bad. I built a new Lego set that I got for Christmas.
Okay. Does Marissa participate in that, or?
No, she was just there. We were watching our TV show that we're watching right now, and I was just doing it.
Yeah.
Chit-chatting and just spending time with one another.
It's interesting watching TV and building Legos at the same time. You know, Kevin, you might have been the most into Legos I've ever seen a person into Legos for a bit.
Yeah.
Kevin had honestly, when you showed it to me at first, I was like, I'm going to get murdered in this room.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to accidentally touch something and he's going to be like, uh-oh.
You're like,
you got to go to the basement now.
I would trust him organized with the back end of the church, or he's a psychopath. One of the two.
Yes, right, yeah.
Thankfully, I think it was the first. But
so what'd you guys do? What did the Fords do? New Year's Eve?
Same deal.
Legos.
No Legos.
Did you go to Marissa's parents' house?
Yeah, they have a good spread. Just
I wish Zach was here.
Yeah, it's really bummed.
Kids in bed. We weren't sleeping too well the past 2 weeks. A little sleep regression we're in. So
yeah.
Nikki was out by 10:45. She was going to try to stay up, and then 11:45. I was like, what's the point? So I just,
Wait, you bailed in the last 15 minutes?
It was good though. I mean, but then
I
15
appreciate
minutes
that.
later, it's like you would say, like Baghdad starts, and then she pops her head up. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty. What about at the Mattingly's?
We stayed up.
Did you?
Kids
All
stayed up,
right.
yeah.
Oh, the kids stayed up too.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
How were they the next day? Pretty good.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
They sleep in. They don't get up early.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah, I have a 3-year-old, so we found the Bluey countdown at 10 p.m. and acted like it was happening.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
And he was pretty excited about that. And then because it was like animated little fireworks, it wasn't that exciting. I went and found the 2024 and then acted again like, it's happening. Look at this. Times Square, baby. And he was pretty cool with that. And then like a 3-year-old's bedtime routine is like 40 minutes. So and it was like 10:30. And I'm pretty sure I just fell asleep with his white noise machine on in his room. And children ruin everything.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Is that a podcast title?
New Year.
Oh, no.
100th episode.
100%. Yeah.
early.
New Year's Eve used to be awesome. Yeah. There used to be some fun times.
What was your most
was
exciting
chill.
New Year's Eve? I know I didn't ask you guys that, but
Oh,
I don't feel like you guys had one.
there's a few. One where like you stayed home during the COVID era was I finally did the Avengers Endgame countdown.
Oh, yeah?
Where Tony snaps his fingers at midnight.
Tony
That was
snaps at
pretty
midnight.
sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the cool at-home one. I went to the coolest wedding I've ever been to on New Year's Eve over in the Flats. That was an amazing just party they threw, and obviously cool wedding. So what else did I do? I had another one, but I'm forgetting.
We can come back to you if you.
Well, another one was like the Music Box Supper Club. That's also in the Flats, right?
That is a cool place.
Yeah, it's in the
They
front.
had a sweet New Year's Eve party I went to on
yeah.
like a double date years back. And now that couple that we went with has 2 kids. And she's like total stay-at-home mom.
Never again.
Our kids are in soccer together. And like the whole thing. They ruined it.
Ledger's doing soccer?
Huh?
Ledger's doing soccer?
He did soccer this year for the
Okay.
first
Wow.
time. Yeah.
I
How old is he?
He's 3.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't playing soccer.
What's running?
Everybody chasing one object.
How many rules can I break? Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot of Ledger, get your hands off the ball. Get your hands off the ball. It's for your feet.
We did that with Maddie at 3 and never again. She just cried every time we went.
Yeah.
She hated it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's another one. When I learned that Pigs in a Blanket was not just Perkins sausage and pancakes, it is a New Year's Eve treat of sausage and sauerkraut.
What?
Somebody made that You've not heard of this?
No.
I know pigs in a blanket are those little smokies
them like
wrapped
puff
up
pastry.
in the. Maybe mine are like the knockoff ones. But
Maybe.
That's how they make. That's
Wait a
like
second.
most people.
So you're
refer to them
saying
as.
pigs in the blanket is actually supposed to be sauerkraut and sausage?
That's what this whole party got me to believe. So now you guys are making me
no, yeah, that's like
revert back because I
it's
took
like
the stance.
piggies in a hay nest or something. That's
in a hay nest.
straw. Like sauerkraut is not a blanket. I don't think that's more like a
That's loose yarn.
yeah.
That's how I was raised.
Really? That
Sauerkraut's not a blanket.
What
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah, pigs in a
You're
blanket.
just making that up.
From my
I
understanding.
think you were bamboozled.
Yeah,
I was.
you were. Yeah, it's
Alright,
a crescent roll with a smoky.
Let's cut this out, Edwin.
No, we leave it because we got to figure out how gullible you are.
It looks like almost every iteration of pigs in a blanket in different cultures is some kind of sausage wrapped in some kind of dough or like pancake or bread, something.
Who told you this?
Some lady.
Who gave you access to your phone?
Wait, a lady you know? Was it a party?
Yeah.
Siri?
So you were invited to a cult.
No, it wasn't a call, man. It was at the house I was staying at.
Okay.
And the lady was a worship pastor's wife. And she was like, this is authentic holiday pigs in a blanket. And everybody was like, yeah. And I thought you guys would say that as well. But
I've never
Never
heard
heard
that.
that.
Sauerkraut?
No.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm missing the blanket, I guess. I suppose it just seems like pigs in
The manger.
loose fabric to me.
An unwoven yarn.
It's a manger.
Yeah.
It's a manger of sausage.
Yeah, there you go.
Manger of sausage.
Let's move on. Bob needs this.
Bob, did you have pigs in a blanket?
What's upsetting to me is that you couldn't think of that last good one,
Yeah.
and then you thought of it, and that's what it was.
It was a delicious
It was an
culinary
embarrassment
treat.
for you. Yeah.
Well, it could still be delicious.
Yeah.
No, I mean the sausage and sauerkraut's delicious.
Sure.
We used to, have that all the time.
Yeah.
It's a good Hungarian, Polish type dish. So, all right.
You guys are making me.
Well, she hijacked it.
Yeah.
You planted a seed and it would come out at some point.
Years later.
Yeah.
On a
Wreck a
podcast.
podcast.
I wonder if this was revenge. You did something when you were living there that she didn't care for, and she's like, I'm going to ruin this guy's 2025 podcast.
The first one.
Yeah.
And it's just been years of her just
Opening.
arranging all of this. And yeah.
Oh, well.
All right.
Yeah.
Robert, what'd you guys do?
Quiet night.
Quiet
We went to Bonefish Grill. That's one of our favorite places to go. And we got there at 4 o'clock. We had
Yeah.
a reservation at 4 because we knew it was going to be crowded. They were booked completely. So we just had a nice quiet dinner
And you
then
stayed till
went home.
midnight?
No, we were out by 5:30.
Another round of bang bang shrimp. Just back to back bang bang shrimp.
It was a great dinner, and then we went home. I think we were in bed by 10 o'clock. We've never been New Year's Eve people.
Really? Even
not
in-
really.
yeah.
Sonny's a tennis player, and we've played tennis with friends on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
And just kind of enjoyed friends that way. But we've never, in all of the years we've been married, really haven't really.
So if I asked
Done
you what your
anything.
favorite highlight New Year's Eve would be, couldn't do it.
I like the tennis ones that we've
Yeah.
done. Those have been fun.
Did you guys play until late or just kind of?
Yeah. And then we would wait till midnight.
Midnight,
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of toasting the new year.
Yeah.
But
I feel bad, isn't it? What was your
What did you-
highlighted New Year's Eve?
We've never been big into it.
Yeah.
When we were little, growing up, we'd do something at the church every year. They'd have a gathering and we'd hang out and do games. And that was like the one time we were allowed to like bring video game systems into the church.
Yeah.
So I'd bring my Super Nintendo and
Nice.
we'd just play.
That was a while playing video
It was a
games.
half nighter.
A lot of mild fun.
Yeah.
No, we'd start at like 8 and go to midnight,
For a while.
which I guess is half the night. Eat pigs in a blanket.
Yeah.
What about the Ford highlight New Year's Eve? Do you have one where pre-kid we were like, man, this was the one?
Did you build the Death Star?
No.
You wouldn't be able to do that in one night.
No, like, okay, put the finishing touches.
Yeah.
It's too big.
I can't. Nothing stands out too much. We went to Chicago for New Year's weekend once because everybody was on PTO and some friends, and went to dinner and stuff. But that was probably we don't get big into that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
what about you?
Well, we were at Kalahari this year, so Henry went to bed, beforehand, because no matter what time we put him to bed, He will be up between 5:30 and 6. It doesn't matter. Like he won't like he's not like Mark's kids where they'll sleep in and don't get up early. If he gets up at 5:30, we got to beg him to stay in bed till 6. So the rules, you can't get out of bed till 6, but like 6 on the dot. And he's like, he was going to bed the other night, and he's like, oh, I cannot wait till tomorrow. I'm like, what's tomorrow? He's like, just another day. And I was thinking, I'm like, that's an amazing attitude.
That
to
is
have.
an amazing attitude.
But I know that that's not driven through appreciation, but through desire to play. That's why he wants to get up. He hates sleep. He's asked me, why does God make us sleep? Like, he wants to stay busy all the time. So if we let him stay up at midnight, he's going to be up at 5:30. We just know that to be sure. So we let him stay up a little bit later because it was Kalahari. And then he just took forever to fall asleep because he was just so pumped.
So wound up. Right?
Yeah. But Rachel and I stayed up, not deliberately, like there's a TV in the room, but yeah, we're just hanging out on the couch, just enjoying conversation. And then we looked down and it was 12:20. Like, good grief, we need to go to bed because he's going to get up soon. And then I had shared on Sunday what not difficult. He's a very first world problems. Nobody got any sleep where Rachel's been hacking like crazy. And then Henry was just so pumped. And I got to sleep with the CPAP on and the eye mask because he's got night lights in the room. And, it was a whole thing. But I think our highlighted, because we never got into it either. I don't know many people that did. Like, I would see these people running through Times Square. Somebody I'd seen on Instagram, like the gate from Times Square open, and people like almost trampling one another to get to that front barrier. That to me, that seems like a nightmare.
Me too. That whole thing seems like a nightmare.
I don't want to stand now at all. Like, I don't want to stand. Like, people are like, standing desk. I'm like, I'm sitting. Like, I don't stand and work anymore. Like, I got a chair on stage. I barely want to stand and preach. Like, it's just, I like to stay active and all that stuff, but to stand in the freezing cold for hours.
It's just like Black Friday. I feel like we're all in alignment on these experiences, or that people. Well, I'm not knocking it, but I don't know.
Yeah, what do you have to do when you have to go too?
That's it.
Like,
So
what do you
you
need
use
the
the
restroom?
restroom.
Where do you use the restroom?
Right. Diapers.
I've heard that they wear diapers.
They wear diapers.
Diaper up?
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't lose their spot.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would never want to do that.
No, I can't wrap my head around
Just for
that.
the story, I guess.
Yeah, you're definitely remembering that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even like going to Crocker Park for the tree lighting.
No.
Like, it's shoulder to shoulder.
It is.
Too
I wear
much.
diapers there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I walk around for a while.
I can tell when Mark walks by my office.
Fundies.
My fundies.
Yeah, that whole experience just doesn't. I'm getting less into crowds. It just doesn't seem good. But yeah, we've had some. We used to get together with the Swidracks pre-kids.
Oh.
And I would make
Free kids.
pre-kids. And
He ruined that first. Or no,
yeah, oh no, Addie and Avery came. Yeah, first. Yeah. And I'd always make a vat of buffalo chicken dip.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, it was
a
was
big
a
dipper?
lot. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I found that I enjoy the Frito scoops
Oh yeah.
because you get the corn, that corn taste, and then the Tostitos
Sturdy.
scoops are good. And of course your standard celery and whatnot.
You should bring some of that in for us.
I could do that.
That would be very good.
I could do that. Yeah, I figured out a wonderful recipe. Where was I the other day? Oh, it was at Verizon because we switched our phone plan, and it smelled like buffalo chicken dip in Verizon. And I went the day after Christmas, and so nice guy, Mike, who kept referring to himself as Batman. He's like, "You can call me Batman." I was like, "I can't though." Like, he's like, I don't want to. It's just, he's like, send your friends in to see Batman. I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Bone.
That's it. It's exactly what it is. Like, he really wanted, and he was telling other people, they're like, oh, you're here to see Batman. And I'm like, but there's a real Batman, and you're not it. Like, I couldn't get my head around that. But real nice guy. I finally looked at him. I said,
Can we isolate that quote? There's a real Batman and you're not it.
I would love
On
that.
the record, there's a real
I
Batman.
feel like Bruce is doing more with his life. Like, no
Well, it
offense,
might
Mike.
be.
I just
No, it's great. But I looked at him and I said, Mike, I ask you a question. He's like, yeah. I said, what am I smelling right now? And he said, it's buffalo chicken dip.
Ah,
He's like, we got some in the back.
It's the bat dip.
Yeah.
Batmobile.
So there was another another family from the church that was there, and I had a hat on, and I kind of recognized them. And, it's hard. We've talked about this, and I don't think people are offended at all.
No, I don't.
But I had heard a little after I had asked Mike. I had heard the lady asked. She's like, "What am I smelling?" They're like, "Buffalo chicken dip. It's in the back." But Mike tells me it's buffalo chicken dip. It's in the back, and then he says, "Do you want some?" And I'm like, "I'm not comfortable with that, Mike." I'm like, at this point, we've only just met. You believe yourself to be a superhero, and it kind of seems like that's for the staff. I feel like if that was community buffalo chicken dip, they would have brought it out and put it next to the
Not in the
iPhone
back.
display,
Which would have been
cases.
worse, probably.
Which I don't think you can do, honestly. I don't know what the rules are, but he kind of whispered to me. He's like, "It's in the back. You want some?" And what I scenario these things out. What if I had said yes? Like, is he bringing it to me? And then I'm the only one in the store looking like a crazy person?
Every salesperson.
Because nobody knows the conversation. Or is he taking me in the back room in the storage area?
To the secret vat.
Where there's a stack of Galaxies and iPhone 16s, and in between that, a nice crock pot.
Yeah.
backroom buffalo chicken.
And he looks at me and he's just like, "Go wild.
Yeah.
All you want."
Hey, check my bat signal's over there.
Right.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So, anyways, we
You
just got
take that dip though, put it on a bed of sauerkraut,
dip in a blanket.
pigs in a blanket.
Oh, okay.
Callback.
Oh.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's chicken in a nest, dude.
That's Mark's way of,
I like
winding
that.
this down.
Chicken in the nest.
It's chicken in a, what do they call them? The,
He did watch like a good Sales 101 video one time, but he's like executing so poorly.
Yeah.
Like, they want something for free
Right.
on
Right.
the front end.
Right.
I got some chicken dip, man.
He just
Yeah.
comes from the bag with a phone box, and it's just filled with
Right.
chicken dip.
That's the thing. Like, what are the utensils?
and make yourself
close.
memorable.
Hey, that
Make
better be an
yourself a
iPhone
little-
16 Max box.
Delight,
'cause
yeah,
Daddy's
delighting your
hungry.
customers. Yeah, this
Delight-
well
yeah.
sales. Yeah,
And make yourself memorable. I'm Batman.
Right.
Well, you're Mike.
He knows.
I'm going to be honest with you.
You're not a billionaire.
We're talking about it.
Oh,
We're talking
clearly.
about
Well,
him.
and
I just gave Mike a plug.
It did.
That is crazy. Mike
For
at
free.
Verizon.
Well done.
You get your family new phones.
Yeah.
And watches or whatever.
Yeah.
On a full stomach, dude, you're spending more money. I think this is a play.
He might have been trying to get me
Sales
buffalo chicken
102,
dip
I
drunk.
think.
It's like champagne at Verizon.
BCDD drunk. Let's get this guy worked up, all hopped up on BCD.
Wow. He's playing chess while we're playing checkers.
He is.
Not
Yeah.
reading all the line items in your
Yeah.
bill. You're just like, I'm happy.
Anyways, I thought he was a nice guy. I enjoyed him. Go see Batman at Verizon.
And Mr. Fritos, if you're listening, we're taking sponsors.
Well,
Especially in 2025.
yeah, that was something else.
Brought to you by Fritos Scoops.
Yeah, they are delicious. Rachel can't get into them. She didn't like Fritos.
I picture her not being able to
She
open
said they smell like toes. No, she's capable of opening a bag.
Toes?
Free
said.
toes.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what she said. I think that was her. She'll let me know. She'll let me know.
let us know in the comments, Rachel.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's right. We'll address it in episode 101. But, well, welcome to the Atrium. This is a Hope Christian Church podcast. My name is Neal. I'm the lead pastor here at Hope, and we'll start over here to my left.
Oh, I'm Zach. I'm the family pastor. And you are?
Kevin, the administrative pastor.
I'm Mark, the adult pastor.
I already went. I started it.
I'm Chad. I'm the student pastor.
And I'm Bob. I'm the executive pastor.
And this is episode
100.
100, a milestone for the podcast. We talked about highlights for New Year's, but I thought it might be kind of fun to talk about maybe your favorite ministry moment from the past year. I know we all, are in different areas and do different things, and so your kind of favorite moment doesn't need to be specific to your ministry, but yeah. Can anybody think of a moment that stood out to
I
them?
can
Zach,
start.
You've got,
Yeah.
Go that way.
Something just popped in my head. So
What sermon was it?
Good one.
Which one?
So
Everyone Mark preached.
Yeah.
I really like the summer series.
Right. Heaven's My Home Part 9.
So this has been my third year, I think, that I've been in this position. And
Is that all it is?
Yeah, I know.
I think because I've known you since
I've been
you were
here
15.
I've
has
been
to
here
be,
forever.
Yeah.
I've known him since he was
A wee little lad.
5?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
3.
I knew his parents when they were 5.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh, you've known, because you've been
gosh.
here the longest.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
So this year we did a marriage conference with Focus on the Family, and that ended up being great. It was my first time doing something like that on a larger scale, because a lot of stuff I do is for the families or even just the kids. So, but it went really great. We had a lot of great volunteers, especially the folks who were watching all the kids. And we had great speakers, Bob and Jenny Paul from Focus on the Family, and we had a great charcuterie spread, which was
I got to
very
tell
fun.
you, I had at least a dozen people send pictures of that to me. And
The spread.
yeah, not the speakers.
No,
They were like, "Look what you're missing," and it was.
it was good.
beautiful.
It was really good.
Did it taste as good as it looked?
It really
did.
was. Yeah,
It was amazing.
Gray's Craze. Shout out to Gray's Craze.
Yeah.
They're the ones that did that. And it was great. There was a lot of great information. And just hearing from them, Bob and Jenny, they were just very authentic, and hearing a lot of the things that they got to share, and being able to process through some of those things, and even just sitting down and talking with them, just very real people. It was great. Looking forward to doing something again like that in the future.
Yeah. So Kevin, you're the newest. Well, I guess technically Edwin is the newest. Although Edwin, when did you start? Because Edwin started part time. December last year. Okay, so Edwin you're the newest because you were
April.
Yeah, yeah. How have you found it so far? Is it because your background? We talked a little bit about this when you podcasted with us last year. Was in technology, but it was still pretty fresh. How's full-time ministry been for you? Has it been, I already know the answer to this, but has it been different than what you expected? Is it in line, or had you not had many expectations?
I don't know. It's great. I don't think I had many expectations. I was I knew this staff pretty well going in, so that was interesting. But leaving kind of the corporate life has been great.
Yeah.
But just working with people that I think like me or pretend to like me each day. No.
We love you.
It's been cool, and just feeling like you have a purpose each day. Not that I didn't in my other role and had different goals, but it's I don't know. Enjoy waking up every day like Henry to come in and do this, and just be a part of it with the team and seeing people's lives change. And it's also, I think I focus a lot on the good, but there's a lot of difficult. We do the prayer requests every week and things like that, and it weighs heavy on me. Just seeing the hurt and struggles that people and suffering that they have to go through. So that's been something that's weighed on me from that perspective. Also, we try to do a lot of good here, but the world still has a way of trying to, I don't know,
Stop it.
And it's that's been an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So you're like, because from a simplistic thought process, you're just like, hey, we're trying to do good. Everybody's going to be cool with that. And not always. So there's a lot of opinions
opposition
in the world, and you think of like hacking and technology. Well, it's they try to do it in ministry also. So it's everywhere. So
Ministry hacking.
Yeah. Or even people knocking on the door and just different things like that. So, but no, it's been great overall. I love it here and love, working with the gang, and everyone's pretty nice to me. Mark sometimes isn't, but no, I'm just kidding.
That is
No, it's
nice.
great. No, I love it.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've really upped to the coffee game here, I feel like. We've got a space age coffee pot now that I don't even. You showed me how to work it.
Yeah, I was the 12th employee before Edwin. Well, Edwin was, I guess, before, but
What is its name?
Aiden.
Aiden?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it,
I didn't know it had a name.
we like, well, yeah, we like pour over
I don't like
coffee here.
New development after the third kid.
You like it now?
You drink it now?
I don't drink it black, but I do drink it. I drank it on the way in.
I gotta tell you.
We didn't have to stop the
Breaking
podcast. I was
news.
gonna say we didn't have to
Moving
stop the
towards that.
podcast
Tell us
to talk
this
about
instead
this.
of the
Yeah.
Cream and coffee.
I don't mean this in an offensive
Picking
way,
a
but I
blanket.
feel like you hate most adult things.
That's true.
Uh,
I don't need it.
no, you are. You, and this is what makes you so
I mean,
amazing.
I work with children primarily.
Yeah, this is exact. He said he
aids me.
likes the wave. Like,
Oh, I totally.
Yeah, that wasn't. We weren't recording
downloaded
that,
all
but I
that.
do. I will go on record as saying
Yeah.
I like the wave.
this is what makes
Like
you
the-
the perfect family pastor.
Nobody else is gonna do it.
No, okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So coffee, yeah. How long have you been on it?
Months. It started
It's a diabetic
I've been on it.
medication or something.
months. It was when. It was probably not last year, not 2024, but maybe 2023. Just enjoying it as a treat.
Who gave it to you?
Oh, Marissa.
Yeah.
Marissa loves coffee.
She's like, hey, listen, I see you're dragging a little bit.
No, it's decaf. I literally drink it as
You
for the
drink decaf.
ritual.
Wait, you drink decaf?
Why
Well,
did
you're
you say
saying
after
with
the,
the kids.
third
Yeah.
kid?
You think you want the real
That's just
stuff?
when it happened. That's when
Oh,
it really
I see.
started happening.
So I'm thinking,
His taste change. You like smooth jazz?
Thinking it's like
decaf.
I get it. I thought you were saying like Philip's here. No one's sleeping ever again.
No, exactly.
So now I need coffee.
No.
exactly.
But you're just like, listen.
No, I was
third kid
misleading
came,
you, really.
Complete overhaul of the taste buds.
No, I just
Yeah.
there was part of me that was like, I don't know, I don't want to drink it because if I'm gonna drink it, I have to put other stuff in it, and I don't need
Other stuff.
I don't need other stuff just because I already don't have the best eating and drinking habits. So
So is this like Christmas in a cup you like? Like 90% milk?
no,
Sugar,
it's
peppermint?
maybe like a third.
What flavor? Just standard creamer? Or you getting nuts with
We
it?
like the oat milk creamers.
Oh yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Like
Those-
the vanilla oat milk.
The one that we have right now is caramel. We had one that was coffee
Oh,
cake and
yeah.
it was really good.
Yeah, that'll
and
do.
I'll
Coffee cake is really.
I'll sweeten it with maple syrup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just maybe like a
Like Elf.
tablespoon.
Like Elf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that much, but
Well, no, obviously, but no.
I'm making the spaghetti.
Okay.
Little pint.
I got time over here. I'm like, man, they're really struggling. He's on coffee now because they can't get any sleep.
like the
He's
ritual.
Like, oh no, it's decaf.
I like the ritual. I like to be able to share
Turns
it
out I
with
like.
Marissa.
I gotcha. Yeah.
It's warm. It's especially now.
What are you
For you.
making it in? A Keurig?
Oh no, it's just like a standard percolator coffee pot, like Mr. Coffee.
Yeah, like a drip pot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good for you.
My kids got on coffee this year.
Didn't they?
Now I'm right on level with Mark's kids.
Decaf?
No.
You're on the hard stuff?
Yeah.
Really?
A little bit.
Hard stuff.
How much
Espresso.
do
A little
they
bit.
have? Okay, a couple sips.
It's half cream. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
Like
the
me.
thing. Yeah, you like cream and coffee then.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose you. Do all you guys drink your coffee with cream in it?
No.
No.
Black.
Drink black.
I drink black. What do you?
I'm half and half. The first cup is with cream, and then the rest are black.
Okay.
I'm a little
You gotta
baby.
ease into it.
You kind of ease into it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I drink it all day though.
Do you really?
I've drunk it all day since I was 14. I started drinking coffee when I was 14, and there hasn't been a day that I haven't had it since.
Wow.
Caffeine doesn't affect you sleep at all at night?
No, I can drink it at 8 o'clock at night and go to sleep.
Wow. Okay.
It's
So you've just
yeah.
killed whatever part of the brain. After 50
Overridden.
years,
It's all decaf. now.
your body just gave up.
It gave up.
It was like, we're going to sleep. We don't care what he does. We need a break.
Yep.
I get it. Have you ever? Well, I guess you said you haven't had a day. Like I would assume, like if you go too long without it in the morning, would you get a headache?
I get a headache.
Would you?
I
Okay.
do.
Yeah. Okay.
If I try to go a day without it, I'll get a headache.
And what do you guys make it at home in? Do you get?
We have we have one of those coffee pots that is like half Keurig and half
Oh,
pot.
okay.
You know, like so
Yeah.
we can do single cups if we want or
Yeah.
pots. We drink a pot every morning. So
Okay.
when I was down with my parents recently, I would drink 3/4 of the pot.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Does Sunny enjoy coffee?
she's an all day coffee drinker too.
Okay.
But it affects her, so she stops at 2.
Stops at 2.
Yeah, and then she'll go to decaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever make the switch, Zach, to caffeinated?
get
I
there.
mean, I have, I'll get there. I have had caffeinated coffee before, and it makes that, it's weird because like I drink soda. I know like nobody in here drinks soda, but I do. It's like Neal said, I, I like things the children like.
That is not a dig.
Like juice boxes and stuff like
It's
that.
just, if the conditions are right, a juice box hits just right. I'm just saying. Anyway,
I'm trying to figure out a condition where juice box would not be right, just in public.
no, where it's like really good and
While
you can
driving.
enjoy it.
I say what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Zach.
just a nice vintage.
I gotta tell you, I had one of Henry's juice boxes the other day, and it was astonishingly good.
Yeah, they're great.
Some of them are very bad.
Are
Some of
they?
the ones-
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to drag any brands on the podcast, but some of them are not good.
No, we can't. afford
But
to lose
I
Risk sponsorship.
Yeah, we don't
issue.
wanna lose
yeah,
that.
there you
Calm
go.
down,
Yeah.
dude.
I just I don't need to do that. But like I'll drink soda that has caffeine in it at night, and that does not affect me like that. But caffeine in coffee really it makes me jittery,
Does it? Yeah.
and I don't really care for that.
Yeah. No.
It's weird. I don't get it, but
Yeah.
so I don't know if I will. I do on occasion. but-
Congratulations. I mean, to opening up that part of the palate.
Yeah.
What was the
Marissa's
question?
very
Your
excited.
biggest ministry moment this year?
Me drinking coffee.
Yeah. Well, I think that's Marissa's biggest ministry.
It is.
I like she got herself a coffee buddy.
Yeah, she just wants to be able.
It
to
is
do
a
that
nice
with me.
thing to just sit down and have a nice warm beverage and just
Helps your marriage.
It does, yeah.
It does.
We haven't.
You had a
gotten to do
joke
it a
one
lot
time that
recently.
was
He actually helps with the kids now. What do you
Right.
mean? No, I'm just kidding. JK.
Bob told a joke one time in a sermon, and he was talking about men caring for their women, and he was like, I make Sonny a cup of coffee every single day. He's like, it's actually scriptural. He said Hebrews.
Ha!
Yeah, and everybody loved it. Really enjoyed that joke. Yeah, and I was like, well played. Well played. Mark, what about your ministry highlight this year when you look back? I know you got your hands in
Yeah.
lots of things.
First would be I got to baptize my youngest daughter, Cece.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's, that's my first ministry with my family. I'm not here at the church per se, but that was cool. We got to do that right before Christmas. So that's all three kids now I've been able to baptize. But actually on Sunday, you asked that question in your sermon, how did you grow this year? And then you gave us like 3 seconds to answer it.
Yeah.
And he said, if you don't have,
5.
basically, if you don't have an answer in your head, you didn't grow.
Yeah.
So I'll answer it that way because the first thing that jumped in my head when you said that was the Wednesday morning men's Bible study.
Yeah.
It's kind of taken on a little. It means a lot to me personally. But this last study we did, we went through the 12 apostles as you were going through them on Sunday, and it was an interesting study. It was a book study, so men had to read before they came. There was no video to watch together. I wasn't necessarily teaching anything. It was just we were going to talk about what we read. And so, when you do those studies, you get nervous because people don't generally read and don't like to do homework. And so I didn't know how it was going to go, but we started off strong and we got about halfway through it, and we got to the night. It was the Wednesday morning after the Tuesday election.
Oh, yeah.
And we had been going strong with like 16 or 17 guys, and that morning we had 7. And I panicked, and I was like, this is dead in the water.
Yeah.
And the next week came, and we had, I think, 7 again. And I internalized it, and I really was freaking out.
Yeah.
I was like, this thing, I was frustrated, I was discouraged, but really I was prideful because I was thinking, I'm leading this. Why aren't they coming? This looks bad on me, and it really humbled me, and God wrecked me over it, and really reoriented my thinking that it's not about me. It's not about even the numbers of who comes. It's about the men connecting with God, not connecting with me, not getting to hear anything I have to say. It's about the men digging deep into the Word of God. And I processed through that over those 2 weeks. It really bothered me. And so I came through on the other side, and God used that to humble me because I need that every day. And we went through it, and I finally said, like Kevin's been coming to it, and that's been a tremendous blessing. I was like, if it's just me and Kevin, like that's what God has for it. And maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need that to humble me. And that didn't end up being the case. The next couple of weeks, everyone came back, it seemed. But when they came back, it also felt like there was this renewed energy in it. And some men shared some things and started to trust each other and open up. And by the end of it, like, we had planned a break after that study. Like, nobody wanted to stop and take a break. We did anyway, just because it was already scheduled. But it was just, there's a lot of excitement to it, and I'm really excited to get back with them tomorrow. Tomorrow morning we're starting again, and
Titus 10.
Yeah. So that was what jumped into my head on Sunday. Whenever you asked that question, that was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, I counted to 5 in each service. And I know that was really direct and heavy, saying what I said, like, if you couldn't pop it in your head how you grew. Because everybody's mind does work different. The point I was trying to get across in that is, when God moves and when there's growth, it's powerful and it's memorable. And if we look back on 2024 and we can't see pretty quickly, and I think it should be quick. I think in my experience and what you see all throughout Scripture is when God moves, He moves. Like, it's obvious and it's memorable and it's powerful. And so the idea on Sunday, kind of reviewing a little bit, was to be jarring in that way. Each service I asked the question, how many disciples did you make last year? And you could have heard a pin drop in the room, and you could feel, I could, and I'm looking at the faces of our people, you could feel the heaviness of that because the answer for many people was probably none, maybe one. And it's not about the number necessarily, because God is the one who gives faith. I've preached on that. But we're not even making the effort in a lot of ways. That's what you experienced, Mark, in your study. And you and I talked about what was happening in the men's study briefly. And I had shared this with you, like, that's almost identical to what COVID was for me. Like, when the church was on this trajectory and lots of growth, and you and I were just sitting here, Bob, just, mind blown. Like, it's never going to stop. We're going to be a church of 28,000 in 3 weeks. Like, there seemed to be all this growth, and then COVID came and the bottom got ripped out of it. It wasn't necessarily that. It's when we opened back up and people weren't coming back for a couple years. As I was putting together the Now What series, I always do a little highlight reel on the front end of the series, and I just offer some encouragement for, the growth that we've seen. And I was back in 2020, 21, 22. Like, the church is half of what it is now, like, attendance-wise, less than half. We went back to 2 services, and I'm thinking, in my pride, I'm like, because I'm hearing other churches are kind of back to capacity, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, what's the matter with? I start going, what's the matter with me? Like, what am I doing? Am I being punished? Am I not preaching the truth? Like, is this how it's going to be? And then you kind of get to the point where, after spending time with the Lord, I'm like, it just doesn't. The numbers don't matter. They do and they don't. It's about the people that are there, making sure that you're doing the work. Because I'll swing back and forth from being self-deprecating, truly, and then just convinced that I'm awesome. That's that swing. Very rarely am I in the middle. I err more on the side of, I shouldn't be doing this job because I'm so messed up. More than I'm awesome.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Like, that's where I'm at most of the time, is, oh man, you got to get your crap together. Like, dude, come on. Like, you're still having the same stupid thoughts. You're still fighting the same dumb things. It's like reflex. Like, how's God going to use you? You can't even do what you're telling people to do. That's where I sit more than, you're welcome, people. Like, that's just how I'm wired. And it's something I'm trying to work on, because that self-deprecation is just as sinful as the indulgence in belief that you're amazing. Like, self-deprecation isn't necessarily rooted in humility, at least not for me. It's rooted in a lot of, I would say, guilt and shame and feeling unworthy, which is guilt and shame isn't the conviction part of it's good, but this feeling of being unworthy, it's like you can't say that God's in charge of all things and that he's sovereign and then question your own position, because he's in charge of that too. I can't be like, oh, he's in charge of all things and tell people all the time your circumstances are what he wants. And, God doesn't do bad things. He allows difficult things and he grows in all, just regurgitating scripture and then look at myself and be like, dude, you shouldn't be here.
That's so true. Yeah.
Because I am here.
Right.
And you're here and you're here and you're here. Like, we're all here. And if God doesn't want us here, then we're not going to be here. Like, well, you overstay your welcome. And you're not that powerful. Like, you're just not. Like, if you're there, it's because the Lord wants you there for some purpose. And the purpose may be to dissolve something. Mm-hmm. It may be to increase something. But yeah, it took some time to come to terms with that. And the Lord, like, you saw the recovery in the men's ministry. We started to see recovery in the church. And now, last year was 2024 was a banner year for us as a church, for sure.
You were talking about the staff and how we get along. I'm listening to you guys and I'm thinking here, one of the things that I appreciate so much about it is this transparency. And I think that this transparency is what keeps us going the way we are. And I appreciate that about you guys.
No, you're built to the same stuff, man.
You would open up about the inner thinking of your pride, and you would open up about that. It's unique in my experience, and I think if we keep doing that, then the Lord will bless it, and it blunts the enemy and what he might try to do to try to get into the middle of this. And I think we always have to think that that's a possibility, and we have to keep our guard up about that. But that's one of the things that I come in here every day, and I appreciate that so much. Just listening to what you were just saying.
It's like bringing
it's unique and it's special, and you do the same thing, Kevin.
It's like bringing it to the light. If you keep it,
right.
Or you're gonna beat yourself up in a self-deprecating way, that you just attack yourself and think you're on an island by yourself, and it's a problem you're only going to deal with, or nobody else has it. But a lot of the things that we share, we all deal with in some way, maybe more than others. But that's one thing through sharing and opening up about things that you guys always kind of align with me. Not that you're dealing with it, but you have dealt with it, the different things. So anyway, sorry, Bob.
And when you bring these things out, if I bring out something that I'm struggling with, I never feel condemned or judged.
Yeah.
I never I feel safe in opening up about it. And that's unique too, because in other places you fear that if you talked about it, that somehow it would be used against you, or it would negatively affect things. And I never feel that way. I don't feel judged.
Yeah.
And I think that's anyway, I didn't mean to
No, I think that's true.
hijack that, but I appreciate that, what you just did.
That's what I had desired. Like, when you and I moved into our roles, it was just you and I, and we had no staff. It was just the two of us. And we never sat down and said, here's the type of person we're going to hire. And this is the type of personality we need for this particular role. And you think about these things, like, obviously, if you've got a person like Zach who has, a background in teaching, an amazing personality, smart, funny, engaging, good in front of people, you would go, that's probably a good family pastor. Mm-hmm. And you have a job description, but what you can't ever really know is like what's going on in anybody really.
No.
Like you can hire a skill. And we talked about this, right? You and I specifically talked about this. And I think we talked about this with most of you guys. Like we can teach you the mechanics of your job. You guys are all smart and reasonable people, and God's given you brains and a spirit. You can learn whatever skill set you need for the most part. But the heart, that heart that's willing to laugh, which is super important to me. Like I can't have a stiff staff. I just can't do it. It's gonna drive me up a wall. Like if the people that I work with are rigid and it doesn't mean you got to crack jokes all the time, because if we do that all the time, that's not going to work either. There's a balance, but I need people to be relaxed and that's part of it, but also like real and transparent and not fake. And that's something that over time, the Lord has blessed us with.
It's so sweet.
It really is. Yeah. Like it sounds sappy, and it's like I don't feel like we're trying to sell the unity of the staff, but it is just it's a very unique thing where like I don't have an issue with anybody. There's no real division. There's no infighting. I don't feel like anybody's talking about anybody behind anybody's backs. Nobody thinks they got a handle on anything that they're doing. Like none of us are experts or feel like we're experts, and we'll have moments and times where we'll think, perhaps I'm, good at this, or I should have done this, but it just doesn't stick. It works, and we've been very fortunate with that. What about you, Chad? What about highlight? I have a guess.
What was just said is a really good kind of prerequisite to what happened in student ministry. I would say what immediately came to mind is our theme. We've had a theme over our student ministry the past several years, and this year was Let's Grow. And we got even students. Edwin got a bunch of students, as if it was a sports team going out onto the field. Let's go!
Right.
And they said, let's grow. And so it was this thing that really unified youth. And we wanted to emphasize this year growth in their faith and in leadership. And that was just a theme that ran through pretty much anything that I got to be involved in this year. From our student ministry gatherings to, getting to go with the football team and do chaplain stuff and FCA stuff. This year we had a really cool ministry moment. Specifically, the first one that came to mind was an FCA takeover. So FCA is Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And that seems to be something that's very popular in our county, in Lorain County. There was 13 FCA huddles in different schools in 2023. And in this past year, it almost doubled. They had 20 huddles, including my football huddle. And we had an Avon Lake football player, a student that I really cherish. I love him, come in, and he was the guest speaker for this takeover night. And then some students led worship that night that are from our church. And, kids that represent probably between the 13 and 20 huddles, somewhere in there, came from all these different schools, and even Oberlin College. There's college kids there and everything. And they just packed the room out. We had no idea. We didn't do like registrations or anything. We're like, we don't have any clue who's showing up. We're going to do our best to like order food. It's an open invite to anybody that's a student athlete, and student athletes, like, bring your friends that play chess. Like, I don't care. They don't have to be athletes, Like, get them.
Not a sport.
Get them in.
Whoa! Let's not go chess back in here.
All right.
Any idea what kind of
bring-
dexterity you need in the opposable thumb?
Bring your band friends, whatever.
Whoa!
Oh, I think Zach has a few
Here we
issues with
go.
that.
Here we go.
I'm not even like belittling. I'm saying non-athletes.
All right.
Just let us say, well.
Everybody.
So kind of you to invite the chess players.
My favorite moment was when Zach started drinking coffee. No.
I do love that the setup was after the third kid. I started drinking coffee. What are you drinking? Decaf. That's one of my favorites.
Well, it's like baby steps, doesn't it? It has a little bit of caffeine.
Just happened to be when they aligned.
Probably,
Just-
yeah, maybe a little
Just
bit.
a smidge, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like
Anyway.
students from middle school to college age really put that thing on. Like our own Devontae Boyd shared his amazing testimony of coming to Christ
Yeah.
as well. He had like a crazy traumatic football injury that knocked his football career out, and just to see how he came to Christ more strongly than ever through that was really cool for a lot of kids there.
I gave Devontae a hug on Sunday. It was like hugging a rock.
Dude, it's crazy.
He's like a boulder.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you? Like,
Yeah.
he's a young guy.
And he's 20, 21 maybe. So
Yeah.
like he comes in, he eats all the pizza, he eats all the fried chicken, just like any of the
Jacked.
kids. And I'm like, what are you doing, man?
I don't know.
You need to get into movies.
Something,
you need to go
man.
play on the Avengers.
Yeah, it was like hugging a boulder.
Yeah.
It was cr-
Yeah, man, I love that guy. And
Yeah.
even like young guys like that are serving our student ministry. So to back up a little bit and elevate and equip the youth, not that we are leading experts in the field on even how to do that. I've talked to you guys about that. This is very much on the theme of what you guys said. Like, we don't know. We're just going to try. We sense that this is what God wants to do with young people. And we had high schoolers leading and facilitating Bible studies, and they've never done that before. And they started doing it all year. Like at first it was like pulling teeth to get them to be the one that wanted to share and be the leader of the thing. And then by the end, I couldn't like talk at all. Like the kids wanted to talk, which was great. Like they were like, we want to lead the whole thing, and to be have people like me and our leaders support them, because that is the truth. They have to be disciples who grow in their faith and walk with the Lord without us in the next couple of years. So that's what we really want to emphasize this year. Same thing happened with the football team.
You feel personally responsible for the state championship as the champion.
the prophet.
The prophet, dude.
Yeah. I don't know why I wasn't on the front of the parade. No, that was a beautiful thing too, to not be the students, especially one named Jack Rickovic, was asked post game with the coach and two other kids, a quarterback and their star running back / safety. I was specifically asked about the prayers that they do with the other teams. And he just came out and said, yeah, our FCA is really strong, and like win or lose, we're giving glory to God. And got to say that in the mic.
That's cool.
This massive public press conference.
Yeah, 'cause that was a big deal, man.
It was a huge deal.
Yeah.
So no, I don't feel,
No,
like I did anything, obviously, but
But the Lord did use you in that area, and that's
so happy
awesome.
for that.
Yeah.
So
that's
that,
a crazy opportunity that a lot of student pastors wouldn't get.
man, yeah, there's people I've talked to in this field, in that like area, that are like, I've never even heard of a chaplain for a high school sports, football team. So to get to do that is an honor. And I wanted prayers of the game all year. That's what I wanted to kind of coin, and have these kids invite the other team over and pray together after each game. And so we would have a prayer of the game. And like at the beginning, same thing. They would go out and put their bodies on the line to get into a minor car accident every play,
Yeah.
And they're hyped up to do it. But you ask them to lead a simple prayer thanking God for this day and the game and the other players, and they're like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And they were terrified. And same thing, by the end of the season, they're coming up to me mid-game like, I want to be the prayer next game. So just really cool to see students step up. Let's Grow became our theme, and it took off.
Yeah.
And God blessed that.
Well, and even
in many ways.
the team just going and smashing the other team, and then to walk over. Good sportsman, be like, hey, come
Yeah.
pray with us, not just shake our hand. Like, let's go pray.
Yes.
And like, and you had boatloads of the pictures of them just praying with these other teams. It's just a massive huddle of players, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, totally optional. Like,
Yeah.
just saying, like, hey, if you want to do this, you know.
Want to win state.
Well, yeah. Now that's the standard, right?
That's right.
Hey, really, though, be a team of prayer.
Yeah.
What unifies you more? So,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's amazing.
What
really
about
cool
you,
year.
Bob? When you think about 2024, I know you got your hands in a lot of administrative things. You're going to be like, well, when the ballast in the East Wing got changed. But you are involved in a lot more than that. Like, you're heavily involved in the worship ministry. You're part of Celebrate Recovery. You got your hands in all of these guys' ministries because, you manage the staff on the day-to-day stuff. And, when you think about 2024, is there a particular moment that stands out to you more than another?
There are a couple of moments.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to pick one over the other,
Say
but
two. It's a
like-
long-form podcast. We've got plenty of time.
the mission trip
Yeah.
to have 53 people
Yeah.
sign up to go to Nairobi to visit the school that we support through Missions of Hope was absolutely amazing. I never expected that many people. And then to go on the trip and have 53 people half a world away and being unified in our mission. And we were able to sponsor, I think, something like 70 more children through the 53 that went there. The child sponsorship and seeing our church's response to sponsoring children.
Yeah.
And to see the looks on the faces of the people who traveled with us for the very first time. There were a number of people who this was their third trip to Kenya from this church, but there were the majority had this was their first visit, and to see the impact on them, and to see how God held us all together, to see how God caused all of the plans to fall into place with airline schedules and people not getting sick and safety and travel from one place to the other. And then to see the unity between our team of 53 and the staff at the school, the social workers and the teachers. And we had a day where we all went out together on a field trip and we had lunch together, and just to see the interaction, it was an experience that I'll never forget. It was amazing. So there's that, and then paying off the church's loan.
Yeah. Yeah.
The goodness of God toward our church.
Yeah.
And I never expected to see that loan get paid off as soon as it did, but that feels so awesome to not have that any longer. And God may call us in the future to expand. Who knows what God has in store?
Yeah.
And there may come a time where, we need to have another loan or whatever. But wow.
Yeah. I don't think I'll forget that if the Lord will allow it. I don't think I'll forget that moment because we
cried
seems like the most
together.
we did.
I mean, it was-
I started weeping because it seems
Yeah.
like the most anticlimactic thing because it's literally two guys sitting in front of a computer, and you're like, and it's not.
It's the 10 years.
Yeah. It's. And it was something that, there needed to be letters and documentation back and forth. It was a sizable amount of money and a little over $430, $7,000. And so it was you just don't swipe your card for that, like your letters back and forth, and you're paying off a loan early. And I remember we had everything set. And I told this at the church, but you got your hand on your trackpad and you're like, I'm going to do it. I'm like, all right, let's do it. You're like, I'm going to do it now.
Are you sure?
Yeah. And I was like, do it. And you're like, are you sure? And I'm like, just hit the button.
It's going to be off by 17 cents if
Right.
you don't hit it, dude.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And then you clicked it. And that's all you did.
Yep.
Was click it. And I didn't even hear the click. But then it just registered. And you and I spent some time talking about, what it had started with. And you and I were talking about this, like the church was averaging, $12,000 a week when it moved into the role. And last year's average was $33,000 a week. It's almost triple, and just what the Lord had done through, particularly, and you and I talked about this, and I share this with the church as well, but I think it's important to know, like, through your leadership, like through your stewardship, like it's you and I finished the budget today, almost, and that all of that work was done without me prior to I'm not involved in putting it together. I'm involved in that last minute, and there's a couple minute changes. Like, you're the one, the Lord's, put you in the role, and Kevin's starting to move into that and transition into that. And, we've talked timelines and what that looks like, as far as what the Lord has for all of that. But for the last 10 years, it was, you and some other people, but predominantly you driving that. And so I felt overwhelmed at the Lord's generosity, but at the same time overwhelmed with your willingness to be a good steward of that. That made a difference. I told the church, like, we're in the position we're in because of what the Lord did through Bob. It's not, I think some people might think it's like, okay, because Neal is the lead pastor of the church, he's in charge of all things. And yeah, but I'm not in all things. Like, I have the power to say no, we're not spending $20,000 on coffee or whatever. It's getting there, I think. Well, the church has grown. Yeah, 1,000 people are getting coffee too. So, but that all of that work is done. Same thing with you guys, like all your ministries and all in all your areas. So yeah, that was a very special moment. I always remember thinking, why am I crying about this? Because I didn't even feel pressure. That's the strange thing. Like, it wasn't like we were under this heavy pressure. The Lord just provide. And we looked at the account and we're like, we can pay this thing off and still have over a year's operating expenses and savings. Let's do it. Like, that to me was just mind blowing. It was just mind blowing. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, we were crying because of the goodness of God. I think we were
just overwhelmed.
We were really feeling it strongly.
Yeah, because I'm such a turd, right? He's doing all of this. So yeah, it was an amazing moment. And you and I talked just back to the missions thing. Like, when we had over 50 people sign up, my first thought is there's gonna be something that's gonna go wrong. If not health-wise. When you got 53 people that are willing to go halfway across the world, that's a different type of person. That's not typically a passive person, right?
No.
So you've got strong personalities.
Yes.
53 strong personalities that are going across, the world to serve. You assume there's going to be some type of fighting, and you and I talk, I don't know, every couple of days, 2-3 days when you guys were there, and how's it going? You're like, no problems. Like, and it was, praise the Lord for that. Like, everybody moved forward with a spirit of unity, and that's a miracle. It is, because you can have people in those situations. They're going to try to step up and take a leadership role that they were not invited to take, or they're going to veer off and they're going to go do something that they're not supposed to do, and they're going to know better than the people that have been there before, and all was well. So
none of that happened.
Yeah.
I was so thankful for that. And you're right. There are very high-powered people. Some CEOs were with us.
Yeah.
And none of that happened. It was really beautiful to watch it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And we had really good sub-leaders too, because with a team that size, 2 people, Sonny and I, couldn't do that. I mean, we had a group of sub-leaders who were so instrumental in helping us through everything. It was a huge team effort on that front, but they did an amazing job.
Yeah. Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Thinking about this year, thinking about, your areas of ministry, let's talk a little bit about what people maybe can look forward to in ministry. Zach, if you We'll start with you. What can our children look forward to? What can our
Sure.
parents look forward to this year? Family ministries, something that we often do.
I just wanted Cliff's notes for all the stuff, so I didn't forget anything.
List?
I wanted to be
no, it's
inclusive,
smart.
and so I was I wanted to add one other thing too.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll be brief about it because I went first, and so I was thinking of the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, no,
as
go
we
for
were
it.
talking, and I'm thinking about these things. It's something started. I don't think it was last year. I think it was the year before, where Mark and I had a conversation because Oscar had been recently baptized, and he was like, "Do you guys do communion in the East Wing?" And I was like, "We don't." And so it just started that conversation, and then now we do. We do it after our large group time together, and we have all the kids come. If they have accepted Jesus as their Lord and Savior, they're invited to come and take communion with us. And I have seen that grow and seen a lot more kids coming and had some kids asking questions. And every week we get to talk about like what this is and why we do it. And we've seen a ton of kids be baptized this year, which was like amazing. I got to meet with them and their families, and that is, I think that might be my favorite part of this job is being able to sit down with kids and parents and talk about what baptism means, and the decision that they have made to accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior, and that they want to follow Him, that they want that to be their life, being able to be even just a little part of that is awesome. And I look forward to seeing what that's going to look like this year. I'm sure there's going to be more. There's even some at the end of the year, but I wanted to add that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, sweet.
But things to look forward to this year, in terms of like events, we have the movie matinee that's coming up this month on the 25th from 3 to 5. We've already started advertising that on Sunday morning.
You guys showing this year Terminator 2?
Yeah, Inside Out 2. So
Inside
close.
Out 2.
It's almost the same.
Come
really,
with me if you want to be saved.
Yeah.
Christian version of
Right. The E-Terminator. That's terrible. We need to cut that out. That's
Angel
so bad.
Studios. I mean,
Ooh, there it is.
come on.
Eterninator. That's not bad. Hard to say.
It is hard to say. That's why it's bad. But we have the movie matinee coming up on the 25th of this month. So then that's a free event. Anybody can come. Bring your families. Bring
Snacks we got.
Oh, we're gonna do popcorn. We're gonna do candy. We're gonna do soda. All the stuff I like.
What's the popcorn? How do we do that?
Oh, the popcorn we actually get locally.
We pop it, or
no?
is
We
it
get it
free
locally.
bag?
It's from Poppy's, which has been this had a shout out on this podcast before.
Yeah, Jared worked
Jared's
at
talked about
Poppy's.
Poppy's. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get it. We go straight to the source. So
Poppies is the source of all popcorn.
it is.
Is he back there? Is he working at Poppy's now?
No,
Oh boy, I was gonna say it.
no. He but we get it from there, and part of the reason that was
Is it flavored? It's butter?
yeah, it's butter flavored, but there's no butter in it. So
Okay.
figure that one out.
Yeah.
But it's nice because Marissa can eat it right now. She's dairy free.
Oh, yeah.
Because of Philip. But so that's not the reason we do it. With just this, it makes it nice for
dairy-free
for
Marissa.
everybody. That's just for Marissa. I'm just doing it for you, hon.
Yeah. I'd be all right with
But we have that coming up in later in January. We have another date night that we're gonna do. We've done those before.
Yeah.
We're
Those are
gonna do-
always real popular, I
Yeah,
feel like.
we usually get a pretty good response from those because
Yeah.
it's like, hey, free babysitting.
Yeah.
Come drop off your kids. Go spend some time with your spouse. Some people just go grocery shopping. Some people go to Target. Some people have a nice dinner.
So VBS is like that as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, it
When
is.
VBS comes because it's 5 days of parents dropping off their kids, and everybody goes to Crocker Park.
and you see them all there.
And I see them all there, and they've all had too much to drink. And then they're trying to talk to me, but they think they feel guilty. Oh, it's hilarious. And then they come back, and everybody smells like wine.
What's
So
interesting
what is going on
with
here?
the date night a lot of the parents will come back early for that because it's from 6 to 8:30.
Yeah.
And this year it's on Valentine's Day. So if you are trying to make Valentine's plans, you can have some babysitting lined up already. Just get them signed up when we put that on. When it's on the website, it'll be on there soon. And I'm also planning on doing at least one more of each of those this year. I would like to do, just because they are so popular and people enjoy having them, and they do come and take advantage of those. We also have the egg hunt that's going to happen. That's something we do every year. That'll be the week before Easter. We have Vacation Bible School that's going to be coming up this year.
We got a theme yet?
The theme is called True North. So it's like an Alaskan adventure kind of thing. I'm looking forward to what that is. I can't remember the tagline off the top of my head. But
Sledding with Jesus?
No, it has to do with trusting God. So like True North, it being your compass, that whole sort of thing.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So yeah, so I like the theme. I'm looking forward to seeing all of what that's going to encompass. They usually release that in January.
Yeah.
And you can get all of the assets for that and start looking over the material for it. So, and that starts now. Like it takes that long to plan for it.
Oh yeah.
But it'll be the end of June. We also have something that will happen in the fall. I know we've kind of been talking about that. We usually do trunk or treat, but there have been some conversations, but I know something is going to happen in the fall, some kind of family community event. And also planning a parenting conference for the fall this year as well. So we did marriage last year in the spring, and this year we're going to be doing another focus on the family conference. We're going to have Dr. Danny Huerta, if you guys know who that is.
He wrote that book, Kids Ruin Everything.
The book is the book that it is based on is the 7 Traits of Effective Parenting. So it's about the same.
Yeah, that was his second publication.
That was just a different title that they published it under. But yeah, the tentative date for that is November 8th. So it'll be in November. We're still working out the finer points of that. But if you have kids and you want more information about that, that's coming. So that's something to look forward to. And we will likely be doing the cookie bash again this year. We usually do that the first.
I was out sick, I think, Henry can't come to that anyways. We don't bring him because it's sad.
It's too much butter. Butter's and everything.
Right. It's not like the popcorn.
Right. No, we can't. It's hard to fake that one.
But how was that this year?
Oh, it was great. We had probably around 150 people come. We did.
Really?
Yeah. Kids and adults. And the cool thing about that is what we've started doing, because Group has started publishing things like a Christmas themed
Group
event.
is the organization.
Group is the organization that publishes. Yes, I was going to get there.
Sorry.
Group. That's okay. Group is the organization that publishes the curriculum that we use for VBS, that we historically have used for VBS, and they released something. Was it 2 years ago? Last year might have been the first year, I think, we did Stellar Christmas. So it goes with that year's VBS, and we get to reincorporate some of those things and some of the ideas. And the kids when we do the Bible points and talk about those, and then do the thanks God, and everybody does that, and kind of brings that back in. And I have a lot of fun with that one, and it's just great to see everybody come together and bring their families, and we get to share the story of the gospel and share the story about Jesus' birth. So yeah, it's busy. There's a lot of things that are going to be going on this year, things that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, so there's, and one other thing that I want to put in here that I could probably spend the next 2 hours on, but I won't, is Trail Life and American Heritage Girls.
Yeah.
We are entering the second half of our program year this Thursday. Really excited about that because we're kicking off the Walkworthy Derby, which we started a few years ago. So it's a Pinewood Derby, if you're familiar with Pinewood Derby. And the girls started getting involved in that last year. So that's just how we're kicking off, and they'll get to get their stuff and start making their cars. That'll be later in February. And I don't need to get into the details of all of that, but just that whole program is, I don't know. I spent a good amount of my time on that, and we have an incredible group of volunteers who help manage that and run it. We have committees, committee/board for both organizations, and they're run by some really wonderful men and women. Mark is on he's our troop ministry liaison for Trail Life, and we've just seen a lot. I mean, our numbers in that have grown. We're up to over 70 trailmen this year, and
what's typical for that?
For Trail Life and American Heritage Girls, they're usually run side by side, mostly in the churches that host them, but it may be at least half of what we have, if not less.
Yeah.
There has been an enormous response with people desiring to be a part of this.
That's great.
And we just have a bunch of great moms and dads too that are involved in the week to week, and coming here and serving not only their own children but also the children of other people, and doing it. And we get to do these really cool and these fun things. We have a rock climb event that we're gonna be doing on Saturday for Trail Life.
Oh boy,
that's gonna be super fun. It's something that we did last year, and there was such a great response from it. Like, we're gonna do.
Where do you go for something like that?
On the Rocks Climbing Gym in Amherst.
Oh, wow, what a clever name.
Yeah, it is. But it was so fun. We're looking forward to going back there again this year. And there's so many other things. Just like we did the Operation Christmas Child, American Heritage Girls did that, and we had a huge response from the church. So thank you to everyone for your generosity in that. But also just there have been so many wonderful, generous people who have been giving to those programs, and we don't know who those people are.
Yeah.
But thank you if you are donating to those. Like, we see that we're using it, we're stewarding those resources in the best way we can. In a wise way that benefits these kids, but also other people's kids and families around the world when we get to do those sorts of things. But it's been great. And one other thing also I want to put out there as just our Sunday mornings. Kids at Hope on Sunday, we also have an incredible group of people who serve faithfully every single week. If you are listening to this podcast, thank you so much. That ministry cannot happen without all of you, and we just get these people who love God so much, and they want to share that with kids, and they want to share the gospel with them, and it's just such a blessing to be able to work with them. As always, we're always looking for people to be a part of that. We want to increase the amount of good and responsible adults that we have shepherding these kids. So if you are interested in that, you can reach out to me. Little plug for Kids at Hope. You can email me directly. My email is on the website. My email is not the website.
My website's drummer Zach Rock Climbing 22.
But if you want to get connected, I would.
Too much decaf.
Got a couple. Yeah. It's the creamer. It's too much creamer. That's the problem. But yeah, so we have a lot.
Good. I enjoyed that.
We have a lot to look forward to, and I have a lot of. I was saying this to Bob the other day. A lot of irons in the fire, but it's been really great. It's only been 3 years of being in ministry, but I look forward to seeing what God's gonna continue to do. And I've told this to you, and I've told this to Bob before. Like, if this is what I get to do for the rest of my life, I'd be so happy.
Pretty good, man.
It's good.
Yeah. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
Kevin, as you
had my big list.
That's right.
Big list done.
Do you have a scroll as well?
It says we have 2 gigs left on this. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Well, the building's paid off, but the building is 20 years old.
Yep.
So,
woo! Which is young for a person, old for a building.
Yeah. So just probably some different projects and things to interior and exterior. Some updating, nothing major, but things like that.
Nobody gets to know this because most people don't see it. But Kevin is so meticulous and fastidious with this stuff. Like really, he cares so much about how it looks and the stuff that you may not even notice around here, like the sign, the work he did on the road sign.
Yeah, landscaping.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and the landscaping, it's beautiful. Yeah. Like I don't want to be too much, but like, and I know you guys all. We feel the same way, but you do such a great job.
Thank you.
Like, it's so cool to see it. Just making it look just really, really nice, very appealing.
His office
is immaculate.
No,
it makes our office all look terrible.
I do not have that skill, like where you can visualize. I can't visualize anything. Like Rachel will be like, "What if I got highlights?" I'm like, "What do you mean? I don't know." Like Kevin's office, I looked at it and I don't know what was in there, like an old sock and a scuba tank or something.
Old TV
right.
Standard.
And I'm like, we have space here if you want to sit here. And the next day I came in and it looked like a Pinterest board.
It really does.
He has a light bulb that
floats,
defies gravity.
Magical.
Yeah, that's sorcery, but I allow it because it's interesting.
I made the comment this year that Neal's office looks like we're looking for a lead pastor.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. Right.
And then you cleared your bookshelf out and everything. We're like, oh, he's making his way out.
I did, yeah. I think where you're like, what'd you do with all the books? I'm like, what books?
Too many.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's minimizing.
I know. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I told Kevin, like, I would like a nicer space to write in. I am an environment guy. I just don't have the skill set and even drive to learn how to make spaces feel nice. Like when I walked in here and saw all this tech stuff up here, I don't know how to do that. Like I'm almost good at maybe 3 or 4 things, and that's about it. So I stay in my lane and I praise the Lord for everybody else that can do the things that I can't. But yeah, Kevin in the landscaping was incredible. Like, because he didn't just design it. I feel like he planted half of it.
Yeah, he was out there.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
he
like,
was.
dude, we're giving them money. Like, give them the plants back. No.
Watering and fertilizing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's it. Like, I've known Kevin. How long do we know each other before you started working here? 8 years, something like that. And yeah, as the church has grown and as the administrative need and executive pastor need has grown, Bob being the executive pastor at a church of 300 people with a budget of $600,000 was possible. Mm-hmm. Not at the size we're in now. It's just like, right. And because the Lord also has really moved in that he's bringing people to you. You developed an interest, and you've had an interest in counseling and doing one-on-one counseling or couples counseling, and went out and got some certifications and did some schooling for that. And we've never advertised, got problems, see Bob. But that's, the Lord has brought people to you, and that's a need here as well. And so it just became so obvious that we just needed the, additional help. And I remember it was a couple of years ago. I was looking at Kevin. I'm like, I think he's got whatever that thing is. That
the it factor.
It's it. Both of these guys are F1 cars. I say it all the time. Like, it's just high performing, like just can just go at speeds and take G-forces. I feel like both of you guys, I'm like, please take a day off. Like, just take some time off. Kevin's like, listen, I'm taking a 15-minute break. I'm like, what are we talking about?
Hey, I let you know.
I know.
After I was like, hey, man, I didn't.
You did.
Take any.
Yeah. But all you do is take what everybody else does. Every Friday, I'm like, if you don't have stuff to do, you could go home and
I'm not good at taking. I'm good at giving.
Well, you did an excellent job. But yeah, we talked about, the building being 20 years old and just doing some updating.
Yeah.
We did the Grow Project back in 2018, the fall of 2018, and put paint on the building and carpet in some places. But we think about things like the baptistry area.
Yeah,
right?
It's exciting.
Yeah, Kevin's come up with some beautiful designs we had 82 baptisms last year, and it's 82 interactions. And, just like I would like my office to be a little bit warmer, more conducive for studying and writing and counseling as well, because they can, fluorescently, like I feel pretty sterile and medicinal. Same thing with baptistry, just warming that space up a little bit and doing some updating. And so, the Lord has given Kevin that skill set of design and that eye.
I was so thankful for him on Sunday because, I'm driving to church and the snow and thinking about the snow and all of that. And I would have had to worry about, is it going to be slippery in the parking lot and all of that stuff. And
while
playing, because I was scheduled to play this weekend in the band, and I was thanking God for you because I could actually say that's not something I even have to think about, and I knew that you would be on it and that it would get done. And what a blessing that has been to have things like that, things like repairs around the building, things like ordering all the things that we have to order to run the church, towels and soap and toilet paper and all of that. I don't even think about that anymore. And it used to be, on my radar, and it's been so helpful.
Well, for a while you were
so helpful.
All you had to deal with new like counseling and all that you were taking on, and then the receptionist after Margie had moved on. So now Karen's here now,
right?
Yeah, and, she's killing it. Not the hunting term, but the doing great term.
Yeah,
and fits in great with the team.
Yeah, and you
Been doing
And
great.
you oversaw that.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's taken over some of that to hopefully, take some of that load and doing great. She's like the team mom. Fits in great.
Yeah.
Hosts great Christmas parties. I'm just
Oh, that was awesome.
It was
Neal.
beautiful.
That was really nice.
But it's a blessing to work alongside her each day, and fits in great with the team.
Yeah.
I think so. Great to have her, but happy to see some of this getting offloaded from you because, we're wired the same, and I know when you're overloaded per se.
Yeah.
You can see it, and so hopefully happy to keep taking on and shouldering some of that for you.
That's one of the exciting parts about getting the building paid off, because what people don't maybe realize is that, on paper, with what the mortgage was, because we had renegotiated the rate, just in mortgage payments alone, roughly $250,000 just in mortgage payments. But what people don't realize is that we were paying extra on top of that
Yes.
every single year, to tune of $1 to sometimes $200,000.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it could save us potentially up to $400,000 a year, which frees up an opportunity to do some improvements on the building, but to bring staff in as well. That's why Edwin's here. We've got another person that we don't have a person in mind, but another position in mind that we'd like to fill this year. And then we'll probably stop at 2, see how it goes, because one of the things that we like to do is the last thing I want to do is churches are notorious for underpaying their people and not providing good benefits, and that's something that we want to be able to continue to do is take care of that. Take care of the people that God has already brought here reasonably, and provide good benefits for them, like medical and retirement and all that. That I think is really important. Scripture speaks to worker deserves their wages, and but churches are notorious for underpaying their people, because they're like, well, this is your ministry, this is your sacrifice, and it is, but sacrifice comes in different ways as well, and the Lord has brought us an opportunity to bring in some additional help, which we need, and so we're looking forward to expanding the staff as well as some of the beautification stuff. The back office space has been the same for a really long time, and things are starting to wear out back there, and we've had a couple of floods, and some of that carpet's still in there, so we need a couple coats of paint on the walls, and some carpet back there, and then that'd be great.
Yeah, the baptism should be pretty cool as far as an experience. Just I don't want to hype it with experience, but it's a special day for these people, and to come in and just have that fit their day and just be a part of that will be cool as from an experience perspective. So that's one thing that I was excited as we were kind of mapping some of that out. But
some tangible change.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
And then it's. I just want to say I'm humbled and honored to work alongside Bob each day and to learn to lead from him. I saved this one for the last part for a reason, allergy season. But honestly, like, just to keep learning and have the time with him to learn how to lead, and he's done it on a massive scale, and then to see what you did here, Bob, is incredible, and I'm grateful for it. So I love running sidecar with you and to help you offload and take and learn from you each day. So
so grateful.
One of the primary things what I'm getting to is that's one of the primary things that I'll still be focusing on this year. So but our relationship is interesting. We're wired very the same, and then we're different. So learn, but all of us learning, but but it's been good to see. It's all of you are like brothers to me, but our relationship as it's grown since we've been here, and it's just awesome. It's just somebody I need in my life. So.
Yeah. Well,
Me too. And it's been fun. It's been so fun. And
you guys have pumped iron together.
Yeah. It's been a blessing.
Yeah, you can see the Lord's hand in
you can see the Lord's hand.
It's been a wonderful thing. And again, the potential for division is there, because I don't think that the Lord typically brings people into a role like, particularly your two roles, that aren't go-getters. And go-getters have a specific way of going and getting it, and trying to figure out, the balance between that there's a real potential for, this is the way it's always been done on this end, to we have to change it because I didn't come up with it. Right? So that's a challenge, but the Lord has seen fit to just let everything lay in a place of peace. And so very thankful for that.
And it's the heart. It's, his heart,
Yeah, we're always mindful, trying not to step on each other and just learning from one another. And you have a lot more to teach me than I could teach you. And I'm
well,
not about landscaping.
Not about landscaping.
Yeah, but I'm just
not about
Baptistry.
Baptistry.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's mutual.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
It goes both ways, brother.
Yeah. It's good. We're it's really great.
Mark, what about you? 2025. What are the plans for adult ministry as a whole that you can think of?
Yeah, just continuing to grow in the grace and knowledge of Christ. We've got more of a lot of what we've done in previous years.
Yeah.
Conference season's coming up. Just finding ways to facilitate our adults growing. We've got a wave of grow groups launching in January. Going to do that a couple times this year.
What about Celebrate Recovery? How
Celebrate Recovery. We
give a little plug for that and just give people the information.
Yeah.
It's a ministry that is another ministry that seems to have grown.
We've grown we grew about 10% the last 3 years per year. It's a joy to be here on Monday nights. A few things are changing this year, nothing major, but some tweaks, some others stepping up into leadership, and really making it, growing in the way it's making Celebrate Recovery our own, like making it even more like attuned to who we are and our particular needs. So I definitely encourage anyone to try that out. Come 3 or 4 times, see how it works, understand it, because it is life changing if you put the work in. We've got we're launching the new studies for the women's and men's studies this week. Both conferences are set. We are bringing in a speaker for the men this year because the men are tired of hearing from us.
Understandably. Are we doing a live podcast?
Yes, and the plan is to have the conference speaker for that join us. So the conference speaker is a man named Jared Wilson. He does a lot of podcasting himself. He's an author and pastor, but he also has several podcasts that he's a part of. And we were talking with him right now about like him joining us for that. Nice. Instead of doing like a Q&A session, record the atrium there, and then have him join us. But yeah, that's the first I've announced the name or said it. And then for the women's conference, theirs will actually happen first. It's on March 15th.
Are we speaking at the women's conference?
So it's going to be us.
They don't want us.
They don't get a guest speaker. We can only afford one.
That's right.
The speaker for that, we haven't announced that either, but I did want to share, has the most fun name that we'll probably ever have. Her name is Asherita Choo Choo.
Wow.
Yes. Love her.
You know her?
No.
Yeah. Asherita is based on a Hebrew word, and her last name is Romanian, I believe. So
Choo-choo's based on a train noise.
Asherita Choo Choo.
That was good.
Oh, man.
And then we'll be doing a study of hers after the conference. We have been doing studies leading into the conference, but this one will be different. The women will get to see her first, and then we'll do a study by her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, sounds exciting. What about you, Chad?
2025.
2025.
We're back. We had a holiday break. We had a big old party with our junior high and high school together this past Sunday night. And now it'll be back to normal. Hope Middle meets on Wednesday nights 6 to 8. And Hope High meets on Sunday nights 6:30 to 8:30. Be there. Always a good time. Or be square.
Like me.
we are going to freeze out. It's a winter retreat in Lake Ann, Michigan for the first time, and hearing great things about it. So
You got a bunch of kids going to that, don't you?
yeah, I don't doubt that it's going to be the thing we do in winter from here on out.
Really?
Unless they just drop the ball.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I expected like 24 total people, including leaders.
It's a very
And-
specific number.
That was just what I
Yeah.
felt like that's
Totally
about
told
to
him.
be like
Max.
max what we would probably take. And we're taking 41 total people.
Wow.
Wow.
And the service that drove Bob and the mission team to the airport was like, yeah, we'll drive you to Michigan
Really?
and back. So that's pretty sweet.
That's great.
Yeah. So we got a ride and everything. We got a mini coach we're going in.
What? Yeah. What kind of vehicle is that?
I guess like a bus.
Like a big.
It's amazing.
What if it's like a party bus, you know?
That's what I'm wondering. Like if
That'd be funny.
you got like a Hummer limo or something.
It does have like purple lights and stuff inside if you want those.
Really?
Oh, okay. That was
Yeah,
a joke.
I mean-
but
You want those.
it's totally like, yeah, we're playing movies and I don't know. It'll be pretty cool.
The drivers are really cool too.
Awesome.
It's good.
Can't wait for that. So yeah, 41 total people. That's a lot.
How far a drive is that?
I'm not sure. It's like 7 hours, I think.
Oh, okay. Well,
Were the chess players invited to this?
All right. You know, some things we just let pass, you know, Mark?
All things we beat to death.
Some things we beat to death.
that's right.
That's not one of them.
Well, it's too late. He's already beaten it.
Sorry, what was the last question?
Just how far? a
For the
drive?
chess players? Oh, yeah. So the youth pastor that I'm friends with, you're friends with, Grant Gratisek.
Yeah.
He's at Illyria Church here. He took kids last year. He said it was like 6 hours.
Okay.
But Google says like closer to 8, like 7 and some. So
Perhaps they broke the law.
perhaps they drove too fast.
What
Yeah.
denomination?
They were Baptist. Now they're just Illyria Church. So something happened.
That's yeah.
They lost their cred.
Velocity
Baptists,
Church.
They'll follow the legal limit, but
Yeah. And that was it. They drove over the limit and they lost it.
That was, they took their
So-
denomination back.
So that's the winter thing coming up that's pretty huge. And man, that's next month. So that's wild. The weekend of February 7th through the 9th.
So, is there a speaker at this thing that you're doing, or are you doing all the
No,
talking, or-
yeah. I'm so glad. This is just something where I'm bringing them and they do the whole thing.
Okay, that's
and we just
nice. Yeah.
get to spend time with students. And this activity center is massive with Gaga ball and 9 square and basketball hoops and all this stuff.
What's
And
Gaga ball?
it's like the big octagon shaped. What would you call
It's
it?
almost like a fence.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's recessed into the ground like a pit.
And yeah, it's the Gaga
It's
pit.
you like smack a ball and you try and hit other people. It's like
Yeah.
this. It came around in the last like 5 years where it's like grew in popularity. We used to have.
Why Gaga?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Kids love that, man. I don't know.
Just the name.
We have
Some
no
of the
idea.
games that they love,
because they go Gaga
I
for
can't-
it.
I can't
I guess.
get
I
into.
don't know.
I didn't know if the lady Gaga
I don't think it has anything to do with that.
No.
prominent in the sport prior to singing.
Maybe
She was the progenitor.
could have been something we didn't know about
pioneered
her.
Yeah.
Some cool trivia for her. I don't know. Yeah, they have.
Deep end.
Keep going. You
Yeah.
sound just like her.
Thanks. yes.
Axe throwing, ninja star throwing, that kind of
What
thing.
kind of waivers are we having the kids sign?
No, nothing.
Nope.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
No, I don't know. They have to register and all that through.
All right, good.
You know, they do the whole thing. Their parents do the whole thing. So.
The only videos I've seen of axe throwing are the ones that go wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm scared to look that up.
I didn't look it up. It found me. You know the algorithm.
It found me.
You watch one disaster on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like you enjoy disasters.
Yeah, yeah.
Nope.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I've only seen commercials that
This
are.
happened to me with a man. There was a person setting up a phone, and it was like a skateboard. And I was like, oh, I'm going to see a skateboard trick. And then the person proceeded to defecate on the sidewalk. And Instagram was like, you want to see this? And I'm like, no, I don't.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was a tough cycle to break.
That's rough, man.
Because there's a bunch of trick ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Got problems? You might want to see Bob.
No problem.
I have access. Yeah. I already have. He's the one sending them to me.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of kids showing me videos like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Pastor Chad.
Yeah, axe throwing, it's always like some kid or person barely dodges the axe coming back at them because of the recoil. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got in the cycle of seeing that.
Well, there's that. Got to keep them safe.
Yeah.
But there's worship, speaking, all that's already done,
Okay.
set in. And I've heard, again, great things from some youth pastors around here that are going.
How many
So-
kids will be at this thing total? Any of you?
Yeah, it's like close to 400.
Okay, so it's pretty big.
Yeah. They have a wait list now, so we just got in with our max capacity.
With your 41.
With our 41. That's what that mini coach fits, 41 people. So that was our max.
It's awesome.
Beyond that one that's coming up that's big, we'll do another FCA takeover. We did that in the spring last year, so we'll start planning that out and inviting FCA huddles for that. And then our Super Bowl Connect Youth Conference, which is amazing last year, the best youth conference we've ever seen. And so our theme we just unveiled to start the year is Built Different. We're moving on from Let's Grow to Built Different. The end of Matthew 7 is the parable where Jesus is talking about those who hear me, but then they go and do their own thing. They go and build their house on the sand. They go and build a beach house. It's going to crush them when circumstances go bad in their life. But those who listen to me and actually obey and follow me, they're going to build their house on the rock. And the same kind of circumstances can come their way, but because their foundation is so different on Jesus, they're going to be able to withstand. They're going to be resilient disciples. And so that's a theme we're going for this year. And yeah, we've got our speakers, our talent. Everybody's pretty much booked up, ready to rock, because that is our Super Bowl. We got to get ready for it. And that is July 31st through August 2nd this year. And then a couple holiday things, like I'll highlight actually a ministry moment from this year. First time we worked with Blessing House here in Lorain County. And there's kids that would most likely not have any Christmas gifts to wake up to on Christmas Day if people did not step in and stand in the gap and serve them. They get blessed by churches, youth groups, teams that want to check out their wish list for their Christmas gifts and bless them with all the wish lists. So our youth group, in tandem with a couple other youth group kids from the area, blessed 10 kids' total wish lists this year.
Oh, that's cool.
As a holiday service project. So we'll do that again this year because that was a blast and made such an impact.
It's great.
Yeah.
Any plans for 2025? Let's just take out a big old loan.
Yeah.
Build a giant sanctuary.
Hot tub in your office.
Honestly, if money was no issue, I would build a large sanctuary and do one service. Not because I don't want to preach multiple times. I actually enjoy preaching. It doesn't bother me at all to preach 3, 4. Like when I did Christmas and do 4, I've done 5 for Easter. Like I'm tired, but I enjoy preaching. I would just love to have the whole church together.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really amazing to just all be in one place, just worshiping and all of that. But that's good.
Save Mark some time on the volunteers, and
Yeah, well, yeah, that'd be something too. That's the thing. You do that, you got to add on to the East Wing because what do you have?
We'd
180,
we would need
186
to
on
almost
Sunday.
double the size of it, if not triple the size of the East Wing.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be a massive undertaking. So we'll just keep doing 3. I like being debt free.
We have the land for it, though.
We do, yeah.
If that's
That's what the Lord wants.
what the Lord wants, we have the space. But no, just working with Kevin, and a lot of what I do is behind the scenes, and so it's hard for me to, really.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think that the work that you guys do, like you just even talked about salt on Sunday morning, like the importance of that. Like it's so, like that stuff is stuff that people probably don't think much about. They'll come to church, they'll think about the worship team, maybe the person preaching, maybe the kids ministry, that kind of thing. But things like coffee and communion cups being every week,
Toilet paper.
yeah, just those things are,
It's a big deal.
yeah, it's a huge thing, and it's a never-ending thing.
That's right. It's never ending. When it's not there, people really notice it. When it is there, they don't notice a thing. And so,
Right.
it's one of those things.
Yeah.
But it's all really critical to the operation of the organization. And
It is.
I'm so thankful that you're taking over many of these things. It's
I'm
really,
snowblowing
really
at
helpful.
2 a.m. with a 21-inch
Yeah.
snowblower, electric.
You're the kind of guy who would be out there with the snowblower if that's what it took. You would. We got to think about people and falling. We don't want people to fall. We don't want people to slip.
Yeah.
But I know you would be, if it came to that and it wasn't clear, you would clear it. And, that is so awesome. But yeah, it's so much of what we do is kind of behind the scenes. The counseling work, I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Looking forward to whatever the Lord may do with that. Yeah. So.
Well, 2025 is going to be exactly what the Lord wants it to be.
Right.
I think that the most important thing is that we've done all we can do in preparing for it.
Mm-hmm.
We've how all of it moves, and I talked about this on Sunday a little bit, is the pressure. And I know I'm not the only one that feels that pressure. I'm sure every one of us feel that pressure. You think about Connect Conference. The words just came out of your mouth. It's the best Connect Conference we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next sentence in your mind is probably like, and I hope this year's is better, right? There's that pressure to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You got great things going on with men's and women's conferences and small groups and men's and women's Bible studies. And the thought is, well, how do we grow that? How do we take and beautify and steward and optimize what we already had? You and I talked about optimization the other day, and ministry growth is not necessarily based on the introduction of something new. Sometimes it's based on optimizing what you already have in front of you. And so how do we utilize the resources that we have? It's not just adding and adding and adding and adding. There's a time for that. Right, like Edwin wants about $16 million for technology this year, and we're going to give him 14. But next year he's getting $6, and he's going to have to make it work. Like,
Stretch it.
make it stretch. Like there's a time for addition, right? And when we want to do upgraded things, there's a time for that. But that's kind of our, I'll say, my internal theme for the year is just looking at Hope Christian Church. And looking at 2024, like what we did and what the Lord did, but He, used us to do it. That one's going to be tough to top becoming debt free. Like that, is one of the highlights for me. From an administrative standpoint, ministry wise, the baptisms, like that's it to me. Like I can't hold it together. Baptisms, I don't know what it is. It's just such a sweet thing, and it's just to be a small part of that person's journey in any capacity is quite humbling. And again, it can be self-deprecating. You just don't feel like you deserve to be a part of what the Lord's doing in anybody's life. But for me, it's just about optimizing. There's been a lot of new, we'll have some new this year, but really making sure that we're doing the most with what we've already been given. We're limited in our time. We're limited in our ability based on responsibilities outside of here on what we can really offer in vocational ministry. So if we're here for 6 hours in a day, making sure those 6 hours are quality 6 hours. If we're here for 10 hours and you still only got 6 quality hours, maybe look at restructuring how you use your time. And so when I think about my own personal study, and we're doing something different this year, we're not going to have as many sermon series. We're going to do one series, and I'll introduce this in a few weeks to the church. But it's similar to what we did with Romans. It's making sure that the time that I'm spending in the Word is quality time. That I'm there for a purpose and a reason, and that purpose and reason for me goes beyond the work, if that makes sense. It's hard sometimes because, like, in my role, I'm constantly looking in Scripture for ways to communicate Scripture to people that need Scripture, and of which I am a person that needs the Scripture. But it becomes it's become in many ways a tool and a resource sometimes just for my job, and not necessarily the manual for my life. Not to say that I'm living some wild, crazy life, like the principles are ingrained in me, but it's just approaching it in that way. So optimizing what's in front of me, not necessarily the addition of new things. And so I'm looking forward to this year and whatever the Lord has. That pressure that I felt kind of in the fall of 2024 has lifted by God's grace, kind of back to, what Mark was, sharing, just getting to the place of just being thankful to be a part of it. It's not about me. It's not about us as a staff. It's not about growth. It's not about numbers. If Connect Conference says, you and I talk about this all the time, there's nothing more volatile in ministry than student ministry numbers. Like, it's the most hot and cold seasonal thing on the planet. You'll go from 40 to 7 in a week. Like, probably pretty close to that legit sometimes, because it's just, that's how it goes. We see this on Sunday mornings. We'll see a swing of 200 to 300 people. You guys will go from 200 kids in the East Wing
to like 100.
To like 100.
Yeah, it happened over the holidays. Sometimes it'll happen when there's a football game.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And so, like, the numbers don't tell us much. But just making sure that, we focus on quality over the drive for quantity. Say the depth of the ministry as opposed to the breadth of the ministry. Like, how far it reaches is certainly up to the Lord. How deep it reaches is up to the Lord. But we can't. He controls all of it. But we can focus more on just producing that quality. So that's my kind of approach to this year. Is had somebody sent me an email and they said something along the lines of, I hope it's okay to encourage you this way, but if it's not broke, don't fix it. They're talking about 2025. Like, things have been working. Why change anything? In many ways, that's true in a sense. But I heard somebody say one time that the thing that sometimes and it's the wrong words to use, because the phrase itself doesn't make sense, because they say the thing that prevents the next move of God oftentimes was the last move of God in our life. And the thing is you can't prevent a move, but the idea is that God moves, and we know it's the Lord, and we're convinced of it, and we hang on to that because it was just this magnanimous moment. It's the same reason why people will yell at us sometimes that we don't play Old Rugged Cross, because 35 years ago, 40 years ago, they gave their life to the Lord while Old Rugged Cross was playing, and that's the song that anchors them to their faith. And so what will anchor us to our faith sometimes is this move of God that we'll see, and we're convinced it's Him, and there seems to be evidence of it. It lines up with Scripture, and we'll just get stuck in that cycle. And so I never want to get stuck in the cycle of missing perhaps what the Lord would like to do next, if there is a next. But at the same time, like we talked about, change for the sake of change is not what we're about. So it's a lot of the same things, but hopefully done in a way that is more honorable to the Lord, more pure in our intent and what we do, and not just getting kind of caught up in the work of it. But I do want to thank you guys for all your hard work in 2024. I said on Sunday that the church operates like a watch, that, in many ways, because of my role and because of what I do, I'm often considered the face of the watch, and people will consider that there's nothing else happening underneath. But you guys do all the work. You do all the heavy lifting. You guys have made it where I can focus on what the Lord has brought me here to do, which is to oversee as an elder from in many ways a very bird's eye view, and to just focus on teaching and preaching and caring for the church and caring for the body. And so I don't lose sleep at night wondering who the speaker is going to be for the marriage conference or parenting conference. Like, I have confidence in you. I didn't lose a bit of sleep over the color of the flowers in landscaping, because in, your ability to take on the finances and the budget over the next couple of years, like that, because I know that the Lord has given you that skill. I know I can call on Mark in the 11th hour to preach a sermon, and then that sermon will honor the Lord and will produce change, real change in someone's life. I don't think you've ever come to me and been like, what about, when I learned about the Titus 10 was on Sunday, and some people would be like, well, you're not doing your job. No, I think we did our job. I think we've empowered
and trusted,
and I know you, and student ministry, like I'm not back there with a notepad, at Hope Middle and not reviewing things online. Like I trust your judgment, and you and I have talked about all, that you've accomplished in the last 10 years, like how much we did it today. We get to the budget master and it's this long, right? It's how many 30 lines of just detailed, this is where every single dollar is going, and this is what the electricity is, and this is what we spent on communion. And if I just sat there and just minutia, that would drive you crazy. But I've never felt the need to do that.
And you don't do that and you set the tone for that, and I'm so appreciative of that.
I think it's important. I think the Lord has brought us together so that because we complement one another, and what allows me to do my role is you doing your role, and what allows you to do your role is me doing my role. Like it's
exactly.
a synergistic thing. There's not one above or below the other. But you guys have worked really hard, and you've been diligent, and you're willing to be in this particular type of battle. I know intimate details about every one of you, and you know them about me. Everybody got problems. Everybody's going through stuff, and the Lord allows it because it draws us and it drives us to Him in many ways, and it's just a part of the world. And we've been open and honest and transparent with one another, and that's what allows this thing to operate as well. If I come in and ask Chad, like, how you doing? He's not just going to look at me and be like, fine, if he's not fine. He would tell me. I know Mark would tell me, all you guys, and I would tell you. So thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your transparency. I'm looking forward to what the Lord's going to do in 2025. And thank you guys for taking the time to do this 100th podcast episode.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Forgot my confetti gun.
I think God prevented that.
I was thinking about
I think that was divine intervention.
What game could I bring and just surprise everybody?
I love games.
Zach would love it.
I'd be all about it.
You would love it. Yes, you would.
You hate most things that adults enjoy. Oh boy, what a mess.
Not that I hate them. It's
No,
I choose not to spend my time with them.
There's something beautiful about that, right? There is, I think.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I enjoy what I get to do.
Yeah.
Like we all do.
Yeah. What you say you like games, like board games? Is it?
Oh, I do like board games. I like card games. I like video games. Most games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who plays video games here? Just
I'll dabble here.
Will ya?
Not as much anymore.
okay.
But
Will you play a video game at all?
I grew up with
I
them.
haven't
right?
played
So-
in years.
Play with the kids, Mark?
Yeah, I play some with
Yeah.
the kids.
We play Roblox with Henry. Sometimes there's a game called Collect All Pets,
Oh,
where you just go around and collect gold in these eggs, and they hatch, and then you got to collect a certain number of pets. And he wants to play these games, Roblox games, and I've hated every one of them, but this one I can tolerate. So
Hey, there you
I'm very
go.
Excited about it. He was home yesterday for a snow day. He's like, "Hey, Dad," he's like, "It's 5:00. We can collect our egg." And doggone it if I didn't grab my phone.
hey.
And I'm like, yeah, let's do it,
That's
buddy.
cool.
It's got to be cool. I've been
Yeah.
excited.
That
Like
is
growing
cool.
up playing games and with my dad, or they would
Yeah.
play with you to be able to kind of turn the tides and be able to play with the kids. And
Yeah, it's interesting because he's better than I am at these things, even technology. Like he was doing this thing on, his phone. That I'm like, does mine do that?
Born with it in his hands.
And he's like, "This is a 15. You have a 16. Like, why wouldn't you an idiot? Like, yeah, you can do."
yeah.
He's just like, "Come on, Dad, let's get with it."
together.
I'm getting to that age though where I'm starting to not want to progress anymore with technology. Like I walked in and saw all these robots here and got afraid. Like, the one camera's moving on its own. I was like, that's
One
a
with-
robot.
That's
or
my
One-
favorite one.
We named one Edwin. I don't know.
Right. Well, the coffee pot's got a name now. It's Aiden. I'm like,
Yeah.
what does Aiden know? Like, what's he learning every time I touch him?
Yeah.
Like, is he taking a reading? I grab the handle and he's like, your blood pressure's up. Yeah, right, Neal? Like, it's just, yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. You think Ledger isn't? Well, he's 3. He's not gonna play any video games yet.
Probably be a chess player.
How would that make you feel? You'd be all right with that. You're not anti-chess.
No, I'm not anti any of those. I don't think I even sounded like I was.
You could come if you played chess, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, that's not what my tone was.
No, that's
We're
I
gonna
was.
play the tape.
All
Let
this.
the viewers decide.
Play.
I would love if he played chess.
I just sold our Unity for 2 hours. Don't you guys ruin it? I don't
like to,
don't prove me wrong. We like to take
Yeah,
days.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's all love.
Well, that's where the atrium was kind of born out of, was our lunch conversations.
Yes.
This was just a way to put microphones in front of it. So,
I appreciate everybody being open to maybe just tolerate it, but I'm a goofball and I come in. I mean, sometimes I'm sorry if I'm if I'm too much. I'll frequently apologize to like
He does
these guys. I'll
apologize a
blow
lot.
in their office and I'm just
Doesn't
amped
he
out of my
apologize?
mind
Oh
or
yeah, you never have to
whatever.
say
Or
sorry.
Mark will be like deep study and he just looks up at me. Like, just
I can handle anything but pranks. I don't find pranks funny. Yeah. Like if I came in and there was a giant teddy bear in my seat with a hat on or something, I would be upset.
It's really low stakes for a prank.
I got to tell you, that's what I'm trying to let
That's
you
a
know.
gift.
Like,
nothing. None
no,
of it.
not to me. That's a trip to the dumpster that I don't
That's
want
a
to take.
gift.
That's what that is.
That's how prank sensitive you are.
I wonder if I've been throwing out a lot of gifts then.
You've been like, what? This stupid prank.
Well, at Christmas time, somebody
Look at all
dropped
these
off
pranks under
all
the
these
trees.
bags.
Friendship bread prank.
I'm not getting involved in that either.
yeah.
I'm with you
Throwing
on
this
this
away.
one. I don't like the
Listen,
pranks either.
my
I
real
can't
friends
stand
are
that.
not going to give me bread.
No.
I'm just saying that. I accidentally thanked Brandy for a gift that Mark gave me. Christmas, Mark was very thoughtful and got me a book on Matthew. We're going to go over Matthew next year, and there's some notes side by side to it, and it's a very practical gift. But the card came with no explanation or writing, and I think it was Brandy's writing on the front of the card. So I came home from Christmas Eve, and people are just very generous. And so you come home with several bags, and people are very, very kind. And I put everything on the counter because I was fried, and knew we needed to get Henry to bed, and then bring his presents down and arrange everything. We had a couple more things to do and wrap, and I'm trying to carry the heavy stuff downstairs. And so I just put everything on the counter. Rachel opens it and she goes, "Oh, Brandy got you this." And I was like, "Oh, that's so nice." So I send Brandy an email and say thank you so much for kindness and generosity and thoughtfulness. And so Mark and I are sitting in the green room on Sunday, and I said to Mark, "Boy, that was real nice of Brandy to give me that book." And Mark goes, "I got that for you." And I was like, "What?" And I'm like, "I just sent an email to your wife thing." And he's like, "I wasn't going to say anything."
Yeah, she showed me the email.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the same.
So I just copy and pasted that and sent it to Mark. same email. But yeah, pranks, can't get into them.
No.
There's nothing.
Gives me a lot of 2025 goals now.
Pranks?
Yeah,
Oh boy.
my gears are turning.
Yeah. They're going to turn you
Gonna
right
be a
out
fun
this
year.
door.
There went the unity.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just like see how far I can go.
Yeah. You'll do it once. Trust me.
Chad has done several small pranks to me, but
I feel like Jared was
fun.
pranky.
Jared had a long-standing prank where we had these teeny tiny cards that he just hid without getting
Was
into
that
it too
the-
much.
Dude, he hit the wrong button on the Connect conference invite
was gonna
cards,
say,
and
those
they
were-
They were
came
1 by 1
inches instead of or centimeters instead
And
of inches.
they were hid all over our office. We're
Yeah.
still finding them.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
a size of like a $50.
yeah.
Yeah, invite cards. I can't believe the company.
Why wouldn't they flag that?
know.
And the font on it was, I mean, you
Unreadable.
honestly would have needed a magnifying
Like
glass to
a
read.
Lego minifig would have had trouble.
Right.
reading it,
Is
you know?
no one going, I wonder if they hit the wrong switch, but they're just
Yeah.
like, print it. Let's get this out of here. We got to fill orders.
No, but there was one time
Guess
where
so.
he was using a kiddie pool filled with like ball pit balls for something he was doing in his ministry. And the next day, my desk chair was in it, at my desk.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. I took my chair out and I sat in the kiddie pool in the ball pit.
For a while, I think.
It was a couple days.
Yeah.
And then there
It
was
was
some
very
concern.
Jim Halpert vibes.
I liked that one. That was
Yeah.
that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Because it was harmless.
It'll be tasteful, Neal.
It'll be tasteful.
Well, just to let you know, we got cameras
Yeah.
all over the building.
He wants credit
So,
for it. I mean, clearly.
Yeah. I don't know if he does. I think he thinks he does. I don't think he's going to want credit for it.
I like
I will
it.
take the
wanna-
full resources of the church.
I just want you guys to feel like anything could happen any day.
Oh,
I thought you were trying to like.
No.
Your pranks are so good that he might come around to them.
oh no. No, I think he's just, yeah. I won't walk around. I won't.
I'm
think
reading
twice
the room.
about
He
it.
doesn't sound like it.
He's going to
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I will put your house in the pond up front.
What is that? What?
That's his prank. That's
I will
Chad
move your home
You're gonna build a
Doesn't
house
feel like
in
a
a
into
moat?
the front pond if you prank me.
Not the car, the home.
I will take 1 year of operating expenses from the church.
oh boy.
Dude, that'd be a great prank.
That would be that's the kind of prank. No.
That's
like-
like
If he builds it right, it's like you got a moat.
that's what
Oh,
I
there
mean.
you go.
You're gonna build me a moat? Okay.
No, I don't like pranks, but it wouldn't set me off. I'd be fine. I would feel bad for you. I'd be
Yeah, you just like what
he's got
yeah.
nothing else to do.
It's not in your sense of you're like that's not a funny thing.
Not to me, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, it wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't get upset about it. Like I've
Yeah.
been pranked before, and Henry likes to try to scare me. I'm not a huge fan of that.
I don't like being
I also don't get scared at all, and it's
fight
not
or
because I'm
flight?
tough. I just realize my senses are just dying off. I can't
You're an
even
old dog.
register
What?
the startle reflex at my age.
What'd you say?
I think I'm so ready to just meet Jesus. I'm just like, oh, thank you. Oh, it's just Henry. Yeah. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I've just never found him funny. Same thing with slapstick. Not a huge slapstick fan. So if you try to do slapstick in front of me, that might fall flat as well.
Slapstick, more
Yeah.
flat stick.
Oh boy. We're gonna end on that. I want that to be the last thing
No!
people remember
Oh
from you.
no! Oh, this.
Well,
is
we
what
do need
happens
to
when
wrap
you
it up.
phone like
Yeah, thank you guys. To those of you watching, thank you for tuning in. What you can expect this year on the podcast is some of what you got last year in 2024. We want to continue to encourage you to send questions. You can email questions to podcast@hopechristianchurch.com, or you can text the questions to 440-HOPE-222. But we're looking to do a couple of upgrades and updates for the podcast now that Sir Edwin is here. We're excited to make things look and sound a little bit different for 2025. But thank you so much for watching and for listening this past year. We hope that it was beneficial. We hope it was fruitful for you, and we're hoping the same for 2025. So thank you all. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Kevin, Zach, Bob, and Chad. And we will see you hopefully next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.